It is 11 o'clock. Welcome back in. This is Three Man Front on Jocks. Appreciate you tuning us in. Very excited because each and every Wednesday at this time, brought to you by Crane Works, we get an opportunity to catch up with the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Crane Works, Rental Works, yeah, the big dog's got it.
Crimson Tide Network's Chris Stewart on Three Man Front is brought to you by Crane Works. Lift it, buy it, rent it. The big dog's got it. And now, Chris Stewart.
Chris joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Chris, I hope the summer has been nice and cool for you.
About like it has for you and everybody else, brother. No, it's incredibly hot, almost unbearable, which can only mean we're 2 weeks away from the start of the season.
There's no doubt about that. I guess you probably did a lot of golfing with your son over the summer. Do I catch that right? Probably.
You probably would be a good way to describe it. We had a lot of fun. It's special to get to have that time with him, and especially in my backyard. Literally, I live right here by Bent Brook, so get him over, and we're playing a good bit. But he is back in school now, and so that's the priority. But we do have high school golf tryouts coming up soon, so he'll be trying to make that varsity. So hopefully it'll go well.
Chris, as you start preparing for the college football season for the Alabama Crimson Tide right now through the developments, reports, and people that you talk to through a couple of weeks of camps, a couple of scrimmages in the books, what is your expectation right now, at least for week one, as far as the offense? And we know that Ty Simpson is going to be the starting quarterback, but just as a whole, kind of a 30,000-foot view.
Yeah, guys, we talk about it every year. You got to be good to be in the conversation at the start of the year. You got to be great to be in the mix late. You got to be lucky if you're going to win it all. I think this team's obviously really good because they're in the conversation right now. They got a chance to be great, and with some luck, then they can win it all. I think they are that talented. Breaks don't always mean injuries or lack thereof, but it can be timing. Certainly never ideal to have your top returning running back banged up and in a spot where he's going to miss some time, but much better to have it now than later. And so, I am thankful that it's apparently not a season-ending type deal and that we're going to see him back, and thankful that there's depth behind it. I think also having it 2 weeks out from the opener, it gives. I'm just throwing a name, and that I don't want anybody reading anything into this because I'm not trying to give any, code or anything. I'm just thinking if I'm a young man like A.K. Deere, who is probably 4th, 5th on the depth chart, and then there's an injury, he's not happy that a teammate's gone down. But now I'm going, you know what? There's even more urgency for me to pick up everything that I need to pick up and to go in with a mindset that I'm a snap away, because he probably is now. I mean, he's up in the rotation, and he's just an example of what they have available to them from a depth standpoint. And I think it gets those guys better prepared quicker, more reps for those guys. And I think it's a thing that frankly can make you better later in the year if you can weather the storm early that comes with not having one of your top ball carriers available.
Chris Stewart joins us, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, brought to you each week by Crane Works. Chris, let's talk about the quarterback position. Ty Simpson was named the starting quarterback. Not that shocks a lot of us, but just your impressions of being around the football team, the people you talk to. You've seen Ty Simpson in person. I know it's been in mop-up roles, but just the individual himself, what can you tell us about Ty Simpson being QB1?
I think he fits the system and what they want to do offensively. I think there's also certainly excitement about what's behind him. But I think it's great for the team that he won the position, because he is the veteran. He is the guy that's been there. I'm happy to see a guy who sticks it out in this day and age get rewarded and have success and get an opportunity and make the most of it. But at the same time, knowing what's behind him, he's going to be pushed all throughout, not just the start of camp as he has, but within the season as well. There's pressure on him to develop and be the best he can be. At the same time, if something doesn't go right, you have capable guys behind him, guys that just about anybody in the country would love to have on their roster, and that I know Coach DeBoer, Coach Grubb are excited about as far as the future, whether you're talking about Austin Mack or you're talking about a quarterback behind him who everybody really won. Elon Russell is ultra talented and is going to be great when his opportunity comes. The beauty of it, and I said it at an event this morning, the fact that he doesn't have to be the guy day one is huge for him, but also for this team. Because normally when guys come in as highly rated as he was, you hand him the ball day one and it's yours. And you have to live and die with the ups and downs that can come with a guy who is as young as he is. But the fact that you don't have to roll him out there as QB1 in Doak Campbell Stadium is a huge plus for Alabama, but also for him and his development going forward.
Voice of the Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart, joining us courtesy of Craneworks on the Higginbotham Hotline. You mentioned Ryan Grubb. How much variance do you think we see in a Ryan Grubb, Ty Simpson offense than what we saw last year with Jalen Milroe and obviously Coach Sheridan calling plays?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think it will be very different. More depth at wideout, more experience at wideout. That is the benefit to the quarterback that Jalen didn't necessarily have, and that whoever lines up at QB now is going to have the advantage. A chance to run their system, which is truly a Kalen DeBoer system that he wants to run offensively. I think while, yes, we had the change to his offense, there were still things you had to adapt to take advantage of your best weapon, who was clearly Jalen Milroe. But you're not necessarily running exactly what you want to run the way you want to run it. And you have to make that adaptation in year one when you're trying to take what you've got, take who you are, and find a way to blend the two. Now that you've got a year under your belt, you can run more of what you truly want to run. And I think with the weapons that are around Ty, that's going to help, which frankly has nothing to do with pros or cons as it relates to Nick Sheridan. But obviously with a marriage of the things we're talking about in terms of returning experience, talent, a better fit, but also an assistant coach, an offensive coordinator who has such a lengthy background and successful background with Coach DeBoer. I can't help but think about what it speaks to Coach Sheridan, though, that there was not only a place for him, but a vital role for him, and the fact that he believes enough in Coach DeBoer first and foremost, but also in Ryan Grubb, that he was willing to stay and be a part of this, even though what's perceived to be a demotion for him.
Chris, I'm not proclaiming that the defense this year is going to look like the 1992 defense, but there is a lot of momentum. A lot of people are fired up about Kane Womack's defensive unit this year with a year under the belt of a lot of guys in the secondary. Just your 30,000-foot view of this defensive unit and how special it potentially could be.
Yeah, look, we saw it improve over the course of the year last year, despite some injuries that resulted in it being a little bit thinner than you'd like, or a lot thinner than you would like for it to be. There was definitely improvement. It's the same as what we're talking on the offensive side with familiarity, understanding. There's quite a change. I was around Braylon Hubbard the other day at an event, and and asked him the question point blank, how different is it running what Coach Womack wants run as opposed to what Coach Saban wanted with his defense? And he said, it's massive. He said, in terms of the scheme. And so there was the learning curve involved there, but also just having more guys. And look, you saw Malachi Moore before I did because you covered him in high school. We know what a player he is and what a loss that is. But with, the whole strength in numbers deal, I think we've got that now in the back half of the defense. The front half, understanding more of what they want done. Plus, you got veterans, like Tim Keenan, kind of leading the charge on that front. A lot of talented guys, but more of them than we had 12 months ago. And with everybody having a better understanding of what needs to be done and more guys available to you, I can't help but think, especially long term, as we go through a full, tough grind of the season, that the situation's going to be much better, and we'll be in a much better position come playoff time than we were a year ago.
How surprised are you, Chris, that you're going to be calling another game coached by Gus Malzahn, but as an OC this time?
I had no clue where you were going until I heard Gus Malzahn. I thought you were just going to quit with how shocked are you that you're getting to call another game? And I would say tremendously so. No, I mean, it is, I will say this, and I can't remember which of, I think it was Corey Reamer that made the comment the other night when he was sitting in on Hey Coach with me. He said, I'm so thankful we're catching this guy early rather than late, because they're still trying to figure everything out, or you hope they are, there in Tallahassee, because as he goes through the year is when he starts to have more of the bag of tricks he can go to. And as we know, he was as successful as anybody was, probably more so against Coach Saban in scheming for him and coming up with ways to move the football and do some amazing things. Those things do take time, and it's better to catch somebody like that early than late. That being said, I have no doubt that they will have a team, especially early in the game, will have a chance to move the football. How many times did Nick say? I can't tell you how many times I sat down with him to do his TV show afterwards, and an offense would score on the first drive, cut through us like a hot knife through butter. And he would say, well, as is typical, they ran stuff that we hadn't seen all year from them. It's stuff that they've never done, caught us off guard, and until we could make the adjustments and get settled down, we kind of had to weather the storm. Well, there's probably going to be an element of that, but I still think overall Florida State won't be as good at running what he wants run until later in the year. So hopefully that kind of evens out. It makes it where frankly, just the better team wins. And I believe going in, Alabama's the better team, but we're going to find out in a week and a half down at Doak Campbell.
We will spend a lot more time, obviously, next Wednesday previewing that matchup between Alabama and Florida State. But, Chris, we're ecstatic that you are back for another season here on Three Man Front, and it's made possible by our good friends at Craneworks.
Yeah, David Upton and Craneworks have been, I know, a big part of your show for years, and thankful that they've given me the opportunity to kind of represent them with you each week. We know Craneworks is the most trusted name for crane and equipment rental in the Southeast. It's well over 30 years now that they've been doing that. They got a fleet of cranes ranging from 2.5 tons to 500. They also offer trained and certified operators and make sure the job is done right. They've got locations throughout the Southeast, Birmingham, Nashville, Mobile, and now in Huntsville as well. You can go online to learn more at craneworks.com.
That is Chris Stewart. Chris, welcome back to the show. We look forward to catching up next week as we will be game week for Alabama and Florida State. Have a good rest of your, the final weekend off for a while, so enjoy it.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much.
That's Chris Stewart joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Our friends at the Finnick want to remind you there's no better place in town to enjoy sports and music than right there at the Finnick. It's near Railroad Park. The Finnick's your front row seat for the best entertainment. They got massive screens, explosive sounds from every seat in the house. The experience is bigger, brighter, and bolder. Their new restaurant menu, it's certainly worth cheering for. It's got wings that win MVPs and wood-fired grilled burgers stacked like your favorite fantasy team. Steak's so good, you're going to forget there's a game on. And top it off with delicious salads, fresh seafood, and a large selection of Finnick beverages. The Finnick's new 6-day schedule includes live acoustic music beginning tonight. It's Wednesday through Friday from 5:30 to 8, followed by live bands 10 o'clock on Fridays. Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays, all dedicated to sports. No live music to get in the way. We're going to see you at the Finnick this football season. Can't wait to see you there. 1630 2nd Avenue South near Railroad Park.
Coming up on the program, a good friend of the show, someone that you're going to hear every Friday talking high school football, Kyle Parmley, is going to join us right here on Three Man Front. Always great to catch up with Chris Stewart, the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. He will be with us each and every Wednesday right here on Three Man Front. A regular guest during the high school football season, Kyle Parmley from Starnes Media. He joins us in studio, and we have in our hands, Landrum, the brand new edition of Under the Lights, the 2025 Prep Football Preview.
I love the way it
If
smells.
If you're watching us on YouTube, that's a look at the cover. This is the Bible. You know, so many people say, okay, I need the Phil Steele's magazine. That's what I need for the entire football season. For me, and I've told you this, Kyle, I'm not placating to you. I've told you this for years since you guys have had this out. This is, when I get this in my hand, when you deliver it, this is when I know high school football is officially here.
It sure is here. So I appreciate that. It's a lot of work, a couple months of really diving into all the teams that we've got on that magazine. And, you think and you write so much over the summer and put it all together, and now it's all about to be useless in a few days because they're about to actually play football games.
How difficult is it? Is it as difficult as it is for guys at the college level like Phil Steele with the transfer portal? I mean, all of the turnover that you have
Wait.
from
Are you
roster
saying
to
that
roster.
kids
No, I meant
transfer in
turnover.
high school?
I meant turnover. I'm
Wait.
sorry.
Do they?
I forgot about.
Do they transfer in high school?
They do.
In Birmingham?
But as long as they're
In 7A?
But as long as it's
do they transfer?
Pat, it's got to be a bona fide move. Just a you've got it's just got to be bona
Because
fide.
it's about the kids.
It is about the kids.
It's about the kids. Okay, go ahead.
Does that make it difficult?
I think the teams change a little bit more from the spring to the over the summer period than maybe they used to.
Yeah, they do. Oh, you know, it's housing markets.
Kyle's like,
They
why-
pop at different times.
Why
Kyle.
is Pat and Landrum trying to send me down a road that's going to get me in trouble?
Sometimes parents want to change jobs and move cities right before the start of a football season.
Well, hey, I'll tell you, one of the perks of finding the Under the Lights magazine, there is a story in there of some
transfers?
coaches being quite candid about player movement and
Well, I saw-
some of the other topics.
I saw
Seems to
somebody
be a hot
last-
topic among coaches and booster clubs.
There was a coach last night in Metro Birmingham. He was tweeting about transfers. Did you see that last night?
Who was it?
I believe that was the current head coach of Thompson High School.
They've gotten a few in their day, right?
Yeah, he had some interesting things that he put on Twitter about transfers. So,
But it's all above board.
of course.
Man, Winona's got a cool logo. I like that dragon.
All right, so you're going to be on the show Friday, and we'll get into the actual schedule on Friday. So, in regards to Birmingham Metro, doesn't matter the classification. You followed this for a very long time. Do you sense that this is going to be a very strong year for high school football in the metropolitan Birmingham area? What do you say, or what are you feeling going into the season?
Yeah, I think based on a lot of the teams that I've kind of really worked on over the summer and tried to figure out who's what and who's going to be good, I think you're going to have a lot of the normal players, and you're going to have some teams that I think are kind of in a really good position to rise up. You know, we end up talking about Class 7A Region 3 a lot because that's Hoover, that's Thompson, Vestavia, Hewitt-Trussville, Oak Mountain, on and on. And we've settled into this routine the last several years where it's been Thompson and Hoover are clearly at the top. Vestavia, Hills, and Hewitt-Trussville are clearly 3 and 4, and then the bottom 4. But I do sense that there's a little bit of rumbling in that bottom 4 between Oak Mountain and Prattville, that Hillcrest even, that may not be ready to make that jump to the playoffs. But I definitely think those teams are going to be a lot more competitive this year than they have been. So When you look at Region 3, I think Hewitt-Trussville's in position to have a great year. Vestavia is as well, but also some of those other teams might not be that far behind. So a region like that we talk about all year long, I think has the chance to be pretty compelling.
What about highly rated players in the Metro that you can think of? One in particular would be Clemson quarterback Brock Bradley, but who else?
Yeah, Spain Park quarterback Brock Bradley he's lived up to the hype, and it's really cool when you get one of those guys, because you hear about these guys all the time coming up. Oh, watch out for this 8th grader or this freshman. But we started hearing about Brock when he was in 8th grade and how good he was going to be, and he's lived up to every bit of it. He's been the full-time starter at Spain Park the last 2 years, and he's primed for another great year, his senior year. One of the things that I think is really cool that has never happened in my time, putting together an all-South Metro team is all 3 of our players of the year are back. Brock was the player of the year last year. Mountain Brook running back Stuart Andrews was the offensive player of the year, and Hewitt-Trussville linebacker Parker Floyd was the defensive player of the year. All 3 of those guys are back for a senior year, and it's pretty exciting to see. After having such standout years, they're not gone. You get to see them for one more run at it. So there's a lot of guys that you already know are kind of the stars in this landscape that you're gonna know from week 1 this year.
I wanted to ask you about a couple of programs that we talk a lot about. They're not 7A, but let's start with Homewood, the Patriots. And they're a team that obviously a lot of people follow, and they expect to be extremely competitive again this year.
Yeah, they've been extremely competitive for the last decade plus, and I think they're going to be really good again. I've said a couple of times, I think they're going to be the team in my coverage area that is takes that real
step.
Big jump.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Caleb Carson's taken over at quarterback full time this year. He got forced into action late last year. He's been playing a lot of wide receiver in his career, but knowing that he's got that quarterback, he's got those skills. And when Will Myers got hurt last year, it was Caleb Carson's time to step in, be the starter, and wow, he was impressive. So Homewood is really looking for a big year from Caleb, and if they get that, they've got enough around him that they could be a really, really good team in 6A, probably flirting with the top 5.
Another team that we talk about a lot, Vestavia. Last year, their schedule was brutal. Not only the region that they have to play in, but their non-region games were brutal. Please tell me their schedule got better this year.
I wish I could tell you it got a lot easier, but it really didn't. I mean, they're starting with a state runner-up out of South Carolina this Friday night, and then they get Auburn the next week, who's really, really good. And then, it just keeps on coming because the region is that's no slouch either. But I do think they're going to be more prepared for it this year, at least coming out of the gates. I mean, last year they had so many young guys starting from day one.
And if I'm not mistaken, they were decimated with injuries.
They were banged up, and it was not pretty those first few games. But they hung with it and ended up having a really good season. And they just
end the season with Catholic.
Yeah, exactly. That's a state champion from last year too. So it's not easy, but they've got a lot more experience. Kind of that trial by fire thing that you hope really pays off down the road after what they went through last year.
We asked you this question about Metro Birmingham, but I want to ask you as a whole, the state, so to speak. When you talk about the state, most of the time you've got the eastern portion, especially in 7A, with Central Phoenix City, with Auburn, Opelika, those type teams. And then in South Alabama, you've got the likes of Fairhope. Of course, Baker was good last year, but their head coach is now at James Clemens up in Huntsville. As far as the state goes, do you see it kind of playing out like it has over the course of the last 5 to 6 years, or is there a couple of teams like a Metro Birmingham that could make some noise and come up?
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing we're going to be talking about a lot as you kind of get to the second half of the year and start to see the playoff picture develop. The 7A playoff bracket this year is it's not conducive to getting the best teams to the end. Region 2 and Region 3, which Region 3 we just talked about, all these Birmingham teams, and then Region 2 with Central, Auburn, Opelika, they're all matched up against each other this year in round 1 of the playoffs.
Wait, so I don't have to go to Mobile?
You don't have to go to Mobile in the first round. But that also means that the North and the South regions...
Now, that's an assumption that I'm going to be doing a playoff game, but,
I think Hewitt-Trussville's a playoff team this year.
Okay.
But that's going to be a thing we're talking about is that playoff.
See, I didn't even
bracket.
realize that, Kyle. You just broke some news to me because I was like, are we – because being a 3 seed last year, we had to go to Baker.
Right.
That's a long way, a really long way. Molly had her parents drive her. I didn't have anybody drive me. I had to drive myself.
Yeah,
She's a passenger princess. Like, she gets carted off everywhere.
Isn't the sideline person the most important part of the broadcast?
You better
team?
believe it. Are you kidding me? She shows up literally 5 minutes before broadcast, and she's got an entourage.
Kyle, I can tell you at the college level, it's not.
It depends on who it is.
Well, I guess it does.
All right, so you were saying, okay, and is that the case for the other classifications too?
No, 7A has its own kind of playoff bracket deal because the coaches, they got tired of the same old thing. You know,
Absolutely.
Every year
We were playing Huntsville.
every single year.
Yeah, it was brutal.
And so as a way to placate that
Switch it
and
up
try
a
to
little
switch it up a little bit, that's what they went to. And then so you started that last year.
So 1 through 6A, that's basically the same it's always been.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it too close, but it's
Okay.
definitely not exactly the same. They're in their normal rotations of who matches up with who.
Okay.
Before everybody freaks out on Friday night when they go watch their first high school football rule changes for 2025, anything noteworthy?
I don't think there's anything too crazy going on, but as long as you got 11 in the same uniform that run out on the field, they'll play a game.
Yeah.
Are they still going to go crazy about making sure that your kneecaps aren't being shown?
You know they
Remember
will
how
in game one, right?
Oh, my gosh.
They always do that in game one.
It was so brutal. Sending kids out of the game because now I'm not in favor of them looking like punters where they basically looks like you're
Sure.
wearing like short shorts, but it's like, oh my gosh, really? Like sending kids off because their kneecaps aren't covered by their pants. It's just whatever.
Well, you know, the officials it's been ingrained in them all summer. Like, hey, you got to make sure this is done a certain way, and so everybody that first week is trying to emphasize the right
instant
things.
replay, that out?
Is it completely out?
Yeah.
No, I don't think. Well, I know that they've said that electronic equipment on the sidelines is okay, but you can't have in-helmet communication. I don't know about replay.
I can just tell you that when that was like a big deal in a few years ago in Region 3, I think there was only 2 schools
Right.
that actually had the capability of doing it, and then it came down to just 1 school.
Yeah, it's a big discrepancy in who has that sort of technology that it's almost like you show up to a game and realize, oh man, this school has the instant replay. Well, one coach has had 10 games worth of practice knowing what he can and can't review, and then the other sideline's like, well, this is the first time we've ever dealt with this. We don't really know what to do, and it's taking time away from coaching your football team because these coaches are worried about, wait a minute, how do I utilize this?
It quickly, before we let you go, on the instant replay, this is a funny story. So a couple of years ago, I will not name the opponent, and you're smiling, so I know you know what I'm about to say. They had instant replay. They challenged a call, and our cameras captured them on the sideline, and they had our feed from the Husky Fast Network on their sideline, and they were using that to help determine the call of that particular play.
Quite certain that's not legal.
Well, like I said,
Was the team Central Michigan?
some guy that looked like Connor Stallions was on the sideline. It was crazy. So yeah, that's why I was curious if it was going to be around or not.
Yeah, it's something that I wish we could either like completely take away or fast forward to where most people have it, and it's not such a shock when
Yeah.
you have those few teams that can utilize it.
Speaking of Michigan, do we have any Sharon Moore type suspensions that maybe a coach got suspended for maybe filming during a playoff game last year and that carries into this year?
I don't think that Opelika one carries into this year, but that was quite the stir in the playoffs last year, getting caught on the sideline at the Hoover game.
Well, and you got Rush Probst back at Coosa Christian. So
You think that'll be interesting or boring?
It will not be boring.
Think
Come
there'll be a
on, Cal.
headline or two from that?
It depends if they win.
There's a lot potentially there.
Yeah.
No, they're a great football team in their division. Great
Should be
football
fun.
team.
A lot of overs.
All right. Tell everyone where they can pick up their Under the Lights magazine. Couple
Yeah.
locations.
Yeah, they should be out in the communities that are represented, but the Battery in Homewood, Buffalo Wild Wings on the 280 locations, places like that, you should be able to find them. And man, I'm ready to get it cranked up.
Absolutely.
You got them in grocery stores too?
They're places.
Okay.
Check the Pig in Homewood.
Yeah, Pig and Homewood is one I was going to ask you about.
Yes, for sure.
That's
So,
his home. It's his home field. It's where he buys his
you hang out in there a lot?
his
That's my
milk
hub.
and cookies.
Sometimes I don't even go in there to shop.
He just hangs out.
You tell them about the Jags on Friday nights?
I wear my Spain Park gear.
It goes over well in Homewood.
I paid taxes
Exactly.
and went to Homewood.
All right, Kyle Parmley, we will talk to you Friday at 1:00.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Let's go.
Always great to see you. More three-man front here on Jocks. It is 11:37. Welcome back. This is Jock's three-man front. You know, water does not need an invitation. It can find its way into your crawl space, bringing along mold, mildew, pests, and wood rot. But APS has the solution. The APS crawl space encapsulation system seals out moisture, blocks pests, and can even help reduce your energy bills. Call APS today, 951-9717, or you can visit their website, alabamaprofessional.com. APS, protecting Alabama homes since 1977. Appreciate Kyle Parmley joining us. You need to pick up one of these magazines. It's fantastic. Under the Lights. It is the guide in high school football across the Birmingham metropolitan area, and it will be here. Games start up Friday night, so we will talk to Kyle on Fridays at 1 o'clock. He'll give us a little preview of what he's covering over the weekend and just talk high school football with us each and every week. If you're just now tuning into the program, one of the lead stories that we were talking about at the beginning of the show, we had an interview scheduled with the UFL's Vice President of Operations, that is Daryl Moose Johnston. They reached out to us yesterday and asked us if we wanted to have a conversation with Moose. And we said, absolutely, that'd be great. So we lined it up for 1 o'clock. We promoted it. And then minutes before we went on the air this morning, we were notified by a UFL official that Moose Johnston was no longer available for an interview. So we just wanted to be honest. We wanted to obviously pull the curtain back and let everybody know that it was not something on our end. It was something on the UFL end. So you can take that for what it's worth. Not saying that there was something that, caused him at the last minute. Maybe it was a scheduling snafu. Not really sure. But for a franchise that it appears is being held hostage right now, Landrum, it's kind of odd to me that at the last minute he's no longer available after they're the ones that reached out to us to begin with.
Yeah. The skeptic in me says that we were going to ask some questions that potentially somebody in that office didn't want addressed or maybe addressed at this time. But like we said, it could have been something else that just came up on Moose's schedule. And it could have been personal, it could have been business. We don't know, but all we know is he's not going to be on today at 1, and we have not confirmed another time that we've been able to reschedule.
Meanwhile, the billionaire businessman that has bought into the UFL, Mr. Rapoli, he sent out a tweet last night saying that Birmingham has sold 1,392 season tickets and one suite. If you remember, he said that had to get to 5,000, or obviously the city of Birmingham was potentially going to lose its UFL franchise. There was someone that purchased a suite, and in the benevolent fashion that Mr. Rapoli is, he gave us credit for 200 season tickets sold because someone bought a suite. So we're now up to 1,600 if you're keeping score at home. So still got to get 3,400 of you to give your hard-earned money to the UFL, but that is the goal apparently, or you will not have a spring football franchise.
Somebody told me the other day, I did not confirm it, but this is hearsay, and so we do confirm it, but they had asked me, do they typically have sales on Stallions merchandise 70% off? And I thought, well, 70, that's a lot, but I don't know. Do you guys know?
I do not. I do know that in the offseason for all the teams, because they're trying to, they either have new deals with new suppliers, because like a couple years ago, for example, Under Armour provided them with a lot of their gear. Well, then the next year, Under Armour was not a supplier. And so
you got to get rid of that stuff while you can still make a little bit of money.
Correct. So, maybe it was a situation where they're just trying to clean out the warehouse and they've got some new folks that's going to come in the league next year. Not really sure. Or it could be the Stallions are about to be defunct and they want to sell the stuff at the lowest price possible. I don't know.
When's the cutoff date? I know that we had a week to have.
When did he tweet the original one?
It was on Saturday or Sunday.
So maybe we got until Sunday.
I would, yeah.
So we just wait
Seems
if they're not fulfilled, if the 5,000 doesn't get met, we wait for the shoe to drop, find out what they're going to do.
Think so.
Okay.
Tune into Rapoli's Twitter account, I guess. That's the only place you're getting you're getting very little information there, but at least you're getting something.
And I will say this, the people of Birmingham in this market, they love football. They're great. The passion is incredible. And seeing Molly people on Twitter, on social media, take some of the things that we have said and tweet at Rapoli and the league itself, because it is disappointing. We always talk about transparency on this show, especially with the college football playoff. And here we're just wanting transparency. I mean, if you've got a guy that's saying, okay, you got to sell 5,000 tickets. Okay, well, let's talk to someone from the UFL and let's find out if that's a real number. If we sell 4,500 tickets, does that mean that we don't have a team anymore because we fell short? Is that a legitimate number? Are you willing to leave a market in which it's the number one television rated market in your spring football league? Are you willing to do that? All those type questions we would have asked Moose Johnston today, but the UFL's not making him available after they asked us to put him on. So there's where we are.
And you did have earlier this morning, if you missed it, where the Birmingham Stallions took one of the tweet we're talking about with Rapoli, where he mentioned the 1,300 tickets that have been bought. The Stallions retweeted that and attached a link to buy season's tickets with it. So they have put that out there this morning as well from their official account.
Okay.
Maybe this is playing out just like Rapoli wanted it to.
Maybe so.
Can't wait to see how many season tickets they sell in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, I think you'd be happy with 9,100 people on average attendance in Boise. I think
What if
that'd be quite remarkable.
What if the Harsons buy all the tickets and they give them out to local kids?
That'd be nice. 1-800-239-WJOX. When we come back, we'll open up the phone lines. We'll also get to your text messages on this Wednesday edition of Three Man Front. 11:47, welcome back in. This is Three Man Front. Phone lines are open at 1-800-239-WJOX if you would like to have a conversation about the UFL, or you want to perhaps continue the conversation from yesterday. I know it was covered for a very long time about the Auburn situation. We'll play you some audio next hour of our good friend down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who had some interesting comments about Auburn claiming 7 new national championships. But I want to tell everybody, if you're tired of worrying about your roof, do not worry any longer, because Abide Roofing and their 25 years of trusted experience, they are ready to serve you right now by you calling them at 205-941-6223. That's 941-6223. Or go to their website, abideroof.com. Quality, precision, customer satisfaction every single time. Whether it's a couple shingles that need to be replaced or a full roof replacement like I had to have, Travis Lloyd and his outstanding local roofing team, they are ready to serve you. And how about that free consultation and estimate? They're ready, once again, to serve you immediately. Call them, 205-941-6223. I saw Travis Lloyd on Friday night, and he was telling me about how many of you out there across Central Alabama is taking advantage of this wonderful opportunity to get that free consultation and let them get on your roof and give you an honest assessment if you've got a problem or something down the road that they can help you with immediately. That's Abide Roofing, abideroof.com.
We're going to get to your phone calls, but first on the text line, Jimmy texted in and says, Jocks had reported the USFL and the UFL had was a TV market league, meaning TV membership or viewership trumped ticket sales. How has this changed? I don't understand. Actively trying to drive away the largest viewing market. We don't know what has changed, and that was our understanding. So there's a couple of possibilities out there. New ownership. This guy looks at things a totally different way, or he is going to use this as an excuse to move the team, and he thinks that the optics will say that it was justified. See, Birmingham doesn't care. Just my thoughts. Tom in Pell City. Hey, Tom. Tom. Giddy up. Hey, Chris.
What's going on, guys? So Sunday we're going to lose the Stallions. I guess so.
Did you wait a second? Did you buy season tickets?
No, I mean, if you think we're going to reach a goal that much, even worth buying the season tickets, but I don't even got the money to do it right now. It's paying the bills. What happened to professionalism and journalism, and I guess in sports in general? Long gone are the days of Larry King, Kasem, and even the late great Stuart Scott. How have they placed it? Because it was shock jock engagement bait. slow work days, hot taking, and agenda pushing reporting. What happened to actually not being lazy for a story and actually having all the facts? Heck, even putting the blood, sweat, and tears into your sources and resources. Now you guys say the guy who wants to recant his statements about the state of the Stallions. Well, I mean, it's too late now.
True. The damage has already been done.
Yeah, the toothpaste is already back out the tube.
It could end up being right, by the way.
And the barbecue sauce isn't even in the bottle. It's already out the bottle. You can't start to spray it everywhere. You can't put it back in. So how do we fix this clear-cut epidemic?
You're not going to. I mean, it's just like the transfer portal and NIL. It is here to stay. I mean, anybody that can, like I said, anybody that can go to Best Buy and buy themselves a microphone, you can be a talk show host. You can do a podcast. Anybody that's got a computer, they can write a blog. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's not some talented people out there that take their job seriously and are responsible so-called journalists. But everyone on this radio show has a degree in either broadcasting or journalism. And we take that very seriously. And so we want to have fun. We want to entertain. We want to inform. And listen, I learned from the very best. I mean, I grew up in this business working side by side every single day with Paul Feinbaum. And you can either hate him or love him or whatever the case may be, but he was a journalist first and foremost. Yeah, we like to have fun, and we cut up on the show, and we did things. Neil Vickers was an integral part of what we did, but he was a newsman. We took it very seriously, and that's what we do on this show. And, yeah, we're going to be tongue-in-cheek, and we're going to say certain things and try to make your day fun. But at the end of the day, we're going to try to be right before we're first. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people now in this podcast world is they just want to put stuff out there and get clicks, and they're not worried about the story being right.
Burr, how are you?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Actually, I'm a little irritated right now. Listen, I got a chance to call real quick. As far as I'm concerned, guys, you know I'm a big Stallions fan. Guys, you know it. But as far as I'm concerned, and this isn't towards Skip or the players, they could take the first train out of town, as far as I'm concerned. I'm tired. I'm done. You know, like I told you guys, I was one of those ones out there in the rain, the first championship game when nobody showed up from the team. You know, don't give us these ultimatums and tell us what we should do. And Birmingham is always there supporting and this, that, and the other. It's just insulting to me. And like I was saying, they could take the first train out of town. I'm ready to go on anyway. You're not a professional league, you're a development league, all right? So don't insult us like that. I'm just at the point I'm ready for them to go, to be honest. And y'all know I'm a big fan, but
yeah.
That's irritating, man. It really is.
Well, if you wanted the Stallions to say it's not a good sign because you are a fan, we know you support the Stallions. Chris is a fan. Heck, he stands in the end zone, all weather conditions, with his shirt off, cheering them on. He said he's not buying season tickets, and you said take the first train out of town. First train out. I literally cleaned out my basement to get ready for football season 2 days ago, and I picked up my USFL cup that was on the shelf that I bought the first season. I threw it in the trash. You know, the USFL didn't last long, so it's like, guys, anyway, I'm just frustrated. I just had to get it out, man.
No, hey, listen, Burr, you share the sentiment of a lot of people. I had an individual that has probably owned more season tickets for Birmingham franchises, and he has been a season ticket holder since day one of the Birmingham Stallions. He literally text messaged me last night. He had already purchased before this ultimatum came out. He had already purchased renewed for next year. And he says, I'll be honest with you, this thing has made me sick to my stomach, this ultimatum that the UFL has given the city of Birmingham, that if I had not already purchased these tickets, I would basically not do it. I would not purchase the tickets again. So that says a lot for that says a lot for someone that has bought season tickets for almost every Birmingham sporting team that we have had.
And another thing, and I'm going to let you guys go, I'm kind of slow, so I didn't catch it until I listened to you guys a couple of hours ago when you said they're asking for this in a week, not before the season starts. And it's like there's college football that's about to start, school's about to start. Man, get out of here. Anyway, guys, I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow afternoon.
Thanks, Burr. We appreciate it. No, they're setting us up for failure, or he is.
How about this? So basically, it will be a news dump on the week of the start of the college football season. Like nobody in Birmingham, they're paying attention to Auburn on Friday night, Bama on Saturday.
Oh, they'll do it Friday,
UAB
3
on
hours
Thursday.
before Auburn-Baylor kickoff.
Yeah. Sorry, didn't make the cut. All right, halfway home on this Wednesday. Keep it tuned right here to Jocks. This is Three Man Front.